Welcome to the Data Man Podcast, where we decode the data-driven world. I'm Simon.
And I'm Richard. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting and sometimes misunderstood corners of data science: how scraping actually works. We're not just talking legality or ethics this time, we're talking tools. The actual tech stack that powers modern web scraping. From Selenium and Beautiful Soup to API scraping and proxies, today's episode is your developer-friendly deep dive into the tools and techniques behind modern web scraping.
We've got a lot to cover, so buckle up. Whether you're a CTO thinking about building scraping infrastructure, or just curious how platforms stay on top of competitors, this one's for you. Let's start with the basics. What even is web scraping software?
At its core, web scraping software is any tool, script, app, framework that extracts structured data from unstructured web pages. You're pulling data out of HTML, CSS, maybe even JavaScript rendered content, and turning it into tables, reports, or pipelines. Now, when people first get into scraping, they often hear about two tools: Selenium and Beautiful Soup. So let's break those down. Beautiful Soup is a Python library for parsing HTML and XML documents. It's lightweight, intuitive, and perfect for pages where the content is already loaded. Think static sites, directories, basic news articles. You fetch the page with requests, parse it with Beautiful Soup, and pull out whatever you need using tags, classes, or CSS selectors. It's super readable, which makes it a favorite for beginners. But it has limits. Beautiful Soup can't handle JavaScript-heavy websites. If a page builds its content dynamically, which most do these days, Beautiful Soup alone won't cut it.
That's where Selenium comes in. Selenium is a browser automation tool. It literally opens up a browser window, Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and simulates human behavior. You can click buttons, scroll, wait for scripts to load, even take screenshots. So if you're dealing with JavaScript rendered content, logins, or interactive pages, Selenium is your go-to. The trade-off? It's much heavier. You're automating an entire browser session. It's slower and requires more resources, but it gives you full control. We've seen clients use Selenium to scrape everything from airline fare calendars to auto insurance quote flows, where each step requires clicks, drop-downs, and user simulation.
Here's where it gets interesting. These tools don't exist in isolation. Most real-world scraping stacks combine multiple layers. Take a typical e-commerce monitoring setup. You might use Selenium to log in and land on a product listing page. Then, pass the HTML to Beautiful Soup to extract product names, prices, and ratings. From there, data is passed into a normalization pipeline, maybe pandas or a custom parser, and stored in a database like PostgreSQL or MongoDB. The most efficient stacks don't just pull data, they organize it, deduplicate it, and prepare it for analysis in real time.
Now, let's talk about API scraping, which is sometimes overlooked but extremely powerful. While traditional scraping pulls data from rendered web pages, API scraping taps directly into the data layer, the endpoints that websites use to fetch data behind the scenes. Think of APIs like the secret pipes that flow under the UI. When you scroll through Airbnb listings or check available flights, the page you see is just a visual shell. The data is coming from APIs, and with the right tools, you can intercept those calls, analyze the request and response patterns, and extract structured data far more efficiently than parsing raw HTML.
Here's the catch. Not all APIs are public or documented. Some are internal, private, or obfuscated. That's where API proxies come in. An API proxy acts as a middle layer. It captures traffic between your browser and a website's servers. With tools like Charles Proxy or Browser Dev Tools, you can inspect those requests, replicate them in your code, and retrieve data without rendering pages at all. This is faster, cleaner, and usually more robust than scraping the DOM. It's also more discreet. Many websites don't throttle API traffic as aggressively as HTML requests, especially if the headers and tokens are handled correctly.
But again, legality and terms of service apply. Just because an API is exposed in your browser doesn't mean the company wants it queried directly. Be respectful. Use rate limiting. And if the data is behind auth walls, tread carefully. Now, we can't talk scraping without talking about scale. Doing it once is easy. Doing it across 10,000 product pages daily. That's infrastructure. You'll need proxy management, residential or rotating, to avoid IP bans. You'll need error handling for failed requests, retries, CAPTCHAs. You'll need distributed scraping, sometimes via serverless tools like AWS Lambda, to parallelize your crawlers.
And most importantly, you'll need data orchestration. That means cleaning, validating, and transforming the data before it reaches the dashboard or model. You don't want duplicates. You don't want missing values. You want clarity. Some teams build this in-house. Others use platforms like Scrapy Cloud, Appify, or custom cron jobs. And the most mature setups plug scraped data straight into analytics platforms or AI pipelines.
Let's bring this down to the e-commerce level, because this is where web scraping shines. Retailers use scraping to monitor competitor prices, stock levels, promotional banners, and even shipping times. We've worked with brands that track hundreds of competitors daily, across product categories, marketplaces, and regions.
Imagine knowing the moment your competitor drops the price of a bestseller, or being able to detect when a product is out of stock, so you can shift ad spend to your own listing.
Scraping also helps optimize product descriptions. By analyzing which keywords top-performing listings use, brands can refine their copy and boost discoverability.
Then there's review scraping, pulling customer reviews across platforms like Amazon, Walmart, or niche marketplaces can surface recurring complaints, feature requests, or sentiment shifts. This isn't just data, it's market intelligence.
One fashion brand we supported scraped influencer shops and Gen Z-focused platforms to detect rising trends, not just by product, but by color, pattern, and even fabric type. Their design team used that insight to launch capsule collections aligned with trend cycles, and their sell-through rate jumped 18%.
Here's another use case, scraping third-party seller listings to detect counterfeit or unauthorized resellers. Especially for premium brands, this can be a lifesaver. The value here isn't just collecting data, it's building situational awareness, knowing what's happening in your market in real time, with no guesswork. But scraping doesn't have to be all about competition. It can be about efficiency, too.
Customer support teams use scraping to monitor forums or social posts for emerging issues. Real estate firms use it to track zoning updates or permit filings. Financial analysts use it to monitor changes to executive team pages or investor relations updates. This is scraping as automation, as early detection, as business intelligence. The best part? The tools are getting more accessible. No-code scraping tools now let teams build scrapers with point-and-click interfaces. For devs, open-source libraries are growing more powerful, and cloud infrastructure makes it easy to scale without breaking the bank.
So what's the takeaway from all this? Web scraping isn't just about pulling data off a page. It's about knowing how to pull, what to pull, and why you're pulling it. Whether you're using Selenium for interactivity, Beautiful Soup for simplicity, or API scraping for performance, the goal is the same. Turn the open web into structured, usable, actionable data.
But with great power comes great complexity. You need smart architecture, you need compliance, and you need to think ahead.
That's where DataMom comes in. We build intelligent, scalable scraping pipelines, designed for insight, not just collection. From real-time e-commerce monitoring to AI-ready datasets, we help businesses move from raw data to results.
So if you're ready to level up your data strategy, check us out at datamam.com. Thanks for joining this episode of the Data Mom podcast. Follow us for more deep dives, tools, and stories from the edge of the data-driven world.
Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.